Alright, welcome back to the Endless Drawing. Back in the garage. I have a few things I want to draw today. One of them is a challenge I've never done before. I want to draw a spiral staircase, a big concrete one, and that'll be a challenge. I have some guides I made that should help me accomplish it. But I think I'm going to start with a warm-up by putting a window into one of these panels just as a warm-up, and then be ready to move on and try something a little bit more challenging. Unsure exactly what scale to work with. Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 from the top, 1, 2, 3, 4 for the window, 1, 2, 3, 4 from the floor. Let's do that. I want to create a face, kind of like a flange. Make it look like it's sticking out from the wall. Like it's kind of a thick, heavy piece of metal. And then I have to give some depth to the wall. And cut it out. I'll let it be kind of like a jagged line, to let there be some implied depth to this thing. And like the stone behind it is rugged and jagged. Or possibly there's little bits that stick out farther than the flange. Let's give it some depth. The whole wall is about 1 voxel thick, so mimic that, becoming 1 voxel. Okay, let me make a hole so we can see right through it. Perfect. A few details in on here, like some big clunky rivets. On the wrong layer again. There we go. Put 3 big heavy rivets or bolts or whatever on each corner. If we can make it look a little bit corroded. Just like faint little patches. put just like a tiny shadow on the underside of whatever material is being corroded, and it helps give it depth. It starts looking like the surface itself has like bump map properties to it. You gotta think where water likes to pool or cause something to rust, and that rust drips down off the rivets. Comes into the corners and sits right along the bottom edge. There we go. Okay, put a couple little highlights on here, and I think I'll move on to my challenge, the concrete spiral staircase. I have a pretty simple concept for how to illustrate it accurately, which I'll explain when we get over to my machine shop. Let me put, before I forget, a little shadow coming across here. And while I'm here, all the little details I could forget, like give a little bit of that rusty texture to the inside here. Not a ton of rust, just some indication that this place is worn and weathered. Real subtle. Fix the front face here. Tiny little jagged marks here to kind of hint at the deformation of the material. Okay. Alright, I think I'm at that point where I can just leave it. I think it's done. Have some coffee. Okay. Let's go to the machine shop. have this little guide I've created. It allows me to spin a cube within it. Of course, it's not as fun as it sounds. It takes a while. Let me show you what I mean. If I decided, alright, you know what, I'm going to try, I forgot I had this whole thing in here. I'm just going to have to draw like it's not there. So we're looking at this like compass rose form right here. If I have a normal square sitting diagonally in my scene, once it goes through the translation into the perspective that I'm working in, it comes out looking like this. So above is a top view. It's sitting diagonal. When projected into the isometric perspective, it ends up looking like this. And if it's a cube, you know, it ends up looking like this. But if I want to take a shape like that and rotate it, let's say it, you know, it started here, but I want to rotate it now 22.5 degrees. I have a square like that. And when you trace those points down, you end up, take this one down, you end up with this cube right here. So you can imagine if you knew what you're drawing on each face and you register that idea, you have a much easier time creating something that looks like what you're intending to create, and accurately. So now I have to make a platform that rotates as it lifts. So the first square of it, like the first step, could be originated from this shape. And if I apply an ellipse to the whole thing, you know, I can do kind of like pie segments. I haven't done this yet, so it's something new, and that's why I said it's a challenge. I'm hoping that I can figure it out pretty quickly and transpose it back to my original image. So, let's see what happens. To test my theory, again, I'll do my first shape. Is the easiest one. It's just the diagonal, normal rectangle. But I just want to see how it lays out in here. Alright. I also need one of these. Can I figure it out? I was thinking in my head that, oh, I got this, like, no problem. now I'm starting to be like, wait a minute, what am I doing? Let me try just scribbling for a minute. So this would be step 1. This would be step 2, step 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and it should take 16 of them. Let's just see. I'll do number 2. Bring it down. Make my brush a little tighter. 7. Okay, now I know. I think I know what I can do. Alright. Let's clear that out. Okay. Long layer again. Yep. Let's go get, you know what we can do? I can take this now. Move it over to here for my arc. I'll place that back vertice at the center of my arc finder, and I can choose to 1, 2, 3, 4. I can draw a line at the radius of 4. Hold on, I'm going somewhere with this. Why do I feel stumped? Oh, you know what I can do? Maybe this was part of it. If I bisect the square, now I have a step that goes 45 degrees tangent to the box. I will figure this out. It just might take me a minute. And more coffee. This does call for the untested technique warning. Okay. I should have done this. I should have practiced this before I went live, but I figured I just had it, so I'll move this down again. Mark the radius at 4. Okay, I don't need to over here anymore. I can just mark it here. Okay. Starting to make more sense now. I've got my pie slice here. I can see it. Let me erase this just 50% right now. Oops. That way I can see how I got to where I'm at. But it's not as distracting. Okay. What I can do is create another layer. And I'll scribble the form onto it so that it's easier to look at. And yeah, this should, okay, I think this will work. Oh yeah, before I make it too hard to see, I have to I'm gonna mark right here. I keep drawing there, I don't need to. Try that again. Mark the actual edges here. Okay, now color in. So let me think, if these were actually like masonry blocks that you wanted to stack up, you would want them to have like a solid center, I would think. Let me just draw one in with a hole through it. Hold on a second. And let me get that the bottom of it nicer. I didn't register it. Hold on. I forgot it was on a different layer than that one below it. The blue box. So there, if I mark those clearly. Okay. And then I have to do it again because this is my first time doing this. I'm confusing myself pretty good. Okay, so now if I draw a hole right through the center. Okay, this will be fun. Let me color this in a little better. And that thing, I don't know. I gotta learn how to use that. But look, it messed me up. Alright, maybe I'll stop with that. This lightness. Actually, I'll leave some of that visible to me because it's useful. Switch pencils. For now, I'll leave that so that I can see it. Okay, and it's just that easy. And now you have one crudely drawn step of a spiral staircase. So what I want to do with these is make them all like this, and then stack them up as I go. It should be faster and faster every time that I do this, because the first time figuring it out is hard. So I'll just kind of stack these up out of the way, and then I can assemble them and then figure out how to develop them and like adorn them with texture and crumbling, cracking edges and all the things that make it look like concrete and make it look real. But there, I think, is a pretty good example of how I use this machine shop and why I call it that. Because I can make all kinds of crazy shapes here. Okay, so maybe what I'll do is I'll copy them out completely. I'll put some of them on the floor here in the garage. Where should I start? I guess I'll just anywhere. Good. It's not nearly as gigantic as I thought it was going to be. I should have put a registration mark on it, but it's okay. I'll put it down here. I can kind of just line up the top ellipse in the center. I'll leave it right there. Let's clear that. And also clear what's beneath it. So I can't forget I have to bisect the square in like a sandwich, cutting it diagonally. Alright, now that that's clear, I'll clear this too. I'll also erase that. does that not work? Eraser. Not sure why that doesn't work. Oh, I have a selection. Jeez, man. Oh, this should be an easy one because it's going to look like this. Switching tools digitally is so much faster than in real life, but it still feels like it takes forever. Okay, so let's come down to here. This part gets a little bit tricky. Okay, I see. Alright, and it's going to get bisected right there. Oh, geez, that would have been easier to just draw that. Okay, let's get rid of that. We're not going to need that. We'll take this, move it, up to here. Place it there. And we can start tracing the arcs at a diameter or radius of 4. I wonder if I made the center of the other one too big, and it would actually be better to, what would I leave us? 1, 2, 3. My normal stairs are 4 wide, so it probably would be smart to just go to this point here and use my smallest ring here as the center. But if it's stone, it might just look cooler. If it's concrete, if it's like some big modular thing. Yeah, let's do it. Let's just go keep it the same as the other one. Alright, and then I can select this again, lower it down. Place it, and I can trace the arc again. Alright, now that was a little faster. That was better than last time. You know what? I should, yeah. Eraser mode. Like, what is wrong? Okay. Let's now shade this thing. Almost looks like I'm drawing in green, but it's gray. I think that's an optical illusion from the purple backdrop. Okay. Feels good to see them actually take shape and look correct. That's exciting. Alright. Looks pretty decent to me, so I'm gonna say this is done enough to get test fit with the other piece. Now if I'm lucky, if I did things right, they should stack. Yes, I think it works. It might be a little bit of a steep staircase, but it will definitely work. Let me check my registration here. maybe for now I'll leave them semi-transparent so we can appreciate the complexity as it stacks. And honestly, I don't need to keep drawing that center that center cylinder, so what I'll probably do is draw one nice and clean, separate, and that way I can copy paste it in each one and save some time. Okay, let's see. Alright, so what I'll do first is draw that center, that little center piece. Should have drawn a registration mark. Hold on. Keep forgetting critical steps. Music is becoming unstable. Just like my drawing was becoming unstable at a certain point there. Got really worried for a minute. I think there's always a moment in every creative work where you start to panic a little bit that the thing you're making is just not working out, not landing. Oh, but I'm relieved that this wacky idea of mine is actually working. Because like I said, I've never actually tested this, and I've never used this in like a drawing ever before. Everything I used to do was manual by hand, and so I had to always give it like my best guess. But now this kind of opens up new possibilities where it's a little more painstaking to be accurate, but at the same time it means that everything that I create will actually be interchangeable and of like standard sizes. The angles will match up, like, so for all time, as long as I'm doing this endless drawing, I can reuse all these parts. And every time I might need a machine giant ball bearing or tank turret or something like that, I'll have all these mechanical pieces I can choose from, and the speed that I'll be able to create things will just continue to increase. That's the idea, at least. It remains to be seen how effective all these things will be. Okay, there's no need to put too much detail because I want to have these be kind of unique. Like, they might as well have some level of detail to them so that they look refined and near completion, but I want them to each have their own unique flair, or their own, you know, degradation or unique treatment. Okay, so there, maybe I can get a little bit more in there. Okay, well that is a decent little ring. I'll set that aside. Gimme. Alright, go sit over there. Now, back to the contortionator. I don't know what you call this thing. Where are we at? Number 4. I was hoping that I could create 4 at a time, but I wasn't thinking ahead. That would be an 8x8 voxel platform that I would rotate and chop up into pieces. And I'm not sure it would actually be faster because I'd have to separate them out. I don't know. We'll just do it the old-fashioned way. I don't need to draw these squares. I'll just move on from that point. Okay. Or is it helpful? Sometimes. Stop it. There we go. Okay. Let me try doing this. 4. That one's a 4. Yep, and I just realized I should have saved. I only had to draw 4 of these squares, and then I can set them aside. So let me draw this newest one. I'll set it aside. Draw all 4 of them, because I got to use them all 4 times. It's a lot of work. I hope it doesn't take too long. Maybe I'll only do like half or a quarter of the spiral stair in this episode and move on to some other creative things, because some of these processes take a very long time. If you want to sit and chill with me while I do it, that's cool. That's kind of the point. But some things can feel kind of brutal. But that's the joy of art. It's such an intense labor of love. Okay, that's the bottom. Yeah. Got it. Okay. Let's set one aside over here. Copy it. Take the other one up to the arc finder. Register it on that center point, right on that corner vertex. Bisect it like a sandwich, and actually, I don't need to go all the way here. Stop right there. Okay. Transcribe that arc, that four radius arc. There's the bottom. Transpose it. Oh, I got rid of my registration mark. Okay, let me add one. Okay, got my drawing back. Now I can move it. Register it at that center point. Now I can transcribe that arc again. Put it back in place. Put it in place. Deselect. And do another layer here. Because we don't want to bring all of that, all those guys, we don't want to bring them with us. We'll leave them here. Okay, now blocking in the form is one of the most rewarding things because it's quick and easy and you get to instantly see the shape that you've created so painstakingly. It's not that bad. If we had to do it on paper, then it would be bad. but at that point I would actually be creating like a little skeleton of points, little vertices that I would mathematically map out, and I would just do the whole staircase in one rendering. But there's a lot of power in having these layers isolated like this, because if it does get reconstructed as like a video game, these little symbols can take up space in their proper like Z coordinates. Alright, how's that look? Pretty good. Maybe. I can erase that. Okay, now I can copy that, bring it over to the garage. You know what I would do by accident? I would draw one of these completely and then paste it over here and realize it's the same one that I just drew before. It's like, damn it! I thought that felt really familiar. I actually did that today. Look at that. How cool is that? Lost control of the computer. It's just doing whatever it wants. Okay. There. Yeah, it's like a neck-breaking staircase, but it's gonna be cool. I think I will do one more step right now, and then move on to something a little more fun. I had an idea for some switch panels and switches with lights and conduit. As exciting as conduit can be. Let's finish off the coffee. Can't always be in warm-up mode. Might need a separate light for coffee and a separate light for warm-up. Okay. Turn the opacity down again. You can erase it. It's always scary. Get another one of these in here. Wrong keyboard. I keep using the wrong keyboard. Okay, we're on to number 5. That's the same as number 1. See what I'm saying? I should have thought ahead. I knew this. I knew all these things. I just wasn't thinking straight. So maybe what I'll do is draw it in orange, and I'll just do all of them real quick. And I can label it too. Save myself all the time. There. Alright, so I can use that one. I was probably going to pull it out of the way some more. There. I'll pre-position it because it's the next one to go on here. Copy, paste. Where'd it go? This one. Okay. Whoa. Now which layer are you on? There we go. As long as everything's on its own layer, we're good. Let me now label. I want to label this one as 1, 5, 9, and 13. Just so I don't forget. Becomes very obvious. This other one, I will label that one as, I want to mess this up. Which one was that? Hold on, let's take a look. 16, 12, 9, and 4. No. No. 16, 12, 8, and 4. So we'll go 4, 8, 12, and 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I swear, I put in so much work to not make mistakes, and then I have to double check and see that I actually wrote the numbers in the right order. Because it'll cause problems. Alright. What is next? 4, 8, 12, 16, 1, 5, 9, 13. That means I still have to do... I'll remake my square for... What is that? 2, 2, and 14. Let's see it. Alright, cross it. Now I have that. Let me label it before I take it away. It is 2, 6, 10, 14, right? 2, 6, 10, 14, yeah. I can set that aside now. As long as it's on its own layer. I'll always double check. And it is not. I'll put it over here. Make sure nothing else is there with it. Nope. Good. Alright, it's gonna look a little sloppy in the tool shop, the machine shop for a while. There's one more. What was it? 3, 7, 11, 15. This looks like a square, a rectangle. Zoom in and get a better. Hard to do the line tool accurately with a stylus. So I thought about using like an actual ruler on the tablet. Maybe that would work. Never tried it. Okay, we'll split it like a sandwich. And set it aside after we label it. What was it? 3, 7, 11, 15? Yeah. 3, 7, 11, 15. Take that. And actually we can just leave it right there. Not going to use that spot again right now. So. Where were we? Take a look at our staircase again, refresh our memory. Back in the garage with all the other stuff. I got my food truck. Maybe it's like a multi-purpose utility, municipal utility vehicle. Like it can be equipped with all kinds of different things. Like it could be a street sweeper. It could be a crowd control scoop. It could be a water cannon truck. I'll bet that acrylic dome like that would be pretty strong, so maybe it's not as silly as it looks. It's actually a heavy-duty military municipal vehicle. Maybe I could just armor it. I'll put some armor plating and some hydraulic PTOs or something. Okay, back to the staircase. Let's get this piece out of here. Out of the way. Put it up here. Now, I'll go back to transcribing the arc. You know what? That one doesn't make any sense. I'll do it. I'll work an orange here. Something wrong. Not working? Oh, selection. Man, The simplest things get me. Okay, so move that down. Get that top arc. Alright, let's trace that onto a fresh new layer. Line it back up. Create a new layer. Or no, I'll work right on that layer. Perfect. As long as I don't have to move it around again, I think that's fine. I would like to get to the point that I can tell my computer what to do, like, computer, deselect, and it'll just do that for me. I'm sure that technology exists. Voice command. But I'm kind of old school. Did you know I don't have to do this at all? They have software that does all of this. Yep. Okay, now the big brush. Alright, let's put a little shadow on here. What angle do we like for a shadow coming over something like that? Maybe it falls right back into the same isometric angle. Alright, good enough. Let's take it, put it in the stack. Yep, I'm just terrified that one of these times I'll do all that work, come back, and realize it's the exact same drawing I just did a minute ago, 20 minutes ago. What's it take? I'm down to like 15 minutes for each one of these. And that's not even detailing them. But it's a great, like once I have all of these pieces, they work as like a perfect starter to like take and adapt and change them. So I wonder now, what I should do at this moment, because I need these, I need to do them all, but I don't want to make you watch me do that for like hours. I could either do some more or create like electrical components. I thought about making switches with lights, levers, conduit, like breaker panels. All such fun things, I know. So fun. It will get more adventurous and exploratory. When I get out into the wilderness again, it'll be cool to start making plants and more fantasy things. But for the time being, I kind of want to create this utilitarian municipal garage, because eventually I want to do urban scenes, alleyways, bridges, all kinds of like Civil Corps of Engineers size projects, like trestle bridge, train bridges, tunnels. But let me think, what do I do now? I've proven that it works. It's just a matter of maybe I should do a little bit more so that I get the work out of the way. I gotta go back and do my first step. I skipped that one. So let's go back and do step number 1. And actually it probably won't be step number 1 because they get transposed like 45 degrees, so number 1, there it is. Here we go. I also need to copy that center ring again. Can't forget that. Where'd it go? Okay, here we are. Transpose that arc. Oh, you know what? No. Skip right ahead. And I'll draw. I keep confusing myself. Doesn't help that all my layers end up with the exact same name, no matter how hard I try, because once you start copying layers and collapsing them, they all just end up with like backfill, merged, backfill, merged. Always the same thing. Alright. I'll scribble in orange and then redo it in gray. I'm sorry. just say? What did I just say? Orange. But orange I can't see. Oh, good, good, good. Okay, I knew there was a reason I messed up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. That would have sucked. I was like, I don't remember drawing orange on top of orange. Move it. I did it again. I did it again where I drew things I didn't need to draw. Okay, here we go. This layer I can draw on. The opacity. I was like, what is happening? What is happening? That's better. All right, the big brush. Now I can do my favorite part. Well, really my favorite part is probably detailing. Maybe not. I don't know. This is pretty quick and fun and satisfying. It feels good when you can see the shape you're trying to lay out and it starts to like really manifest and appear. Stylus buttons strike again. Can I get it to work again? Please? There we go. Okay, that looks also pretty decent. Kinda looks like the shape I'm going for, so I'm gonna take it. And let's move all of these. Yeah, you know what? I'll put them in a different order because, like I said, they get rotated 45 degrees. So, wrong keyboard again. keep using the wrong keyboard. Set this right there. Then I can grab the next one. Oh, you know what? I'll grab both of these. Oops, don't want that happening. Oh, I see. I'm gonna have to wait for the to put these into the stack. They either have to go lower, which I didn't want to do, but I guess just for now, for continuity's sake. Ooh, I gotta stop rotating these by accident. I will get these in place. There it is. Okay. Stop it. No rotate. I don't want rotate. I'll find this guy. Oh man, so much work. And then imagine I gotta do like a railing or something that goes around it. I can imagine doing it, but in fact I know I will do it. It's just a matter of time. And did I forget? No, it's okay. Let's move along. What's next? Erasing this. There it is. Erase. Well, which one is next? 15913? No, that's the one I just did. So, gotta think. This one. I can see it. I can see the shape I'm looking for within this. I'm gonna trust my gut and go with it. And now I believe, oh. Which layer is it on? Got so many layers named backfill merged. Alright, copy that. Because I gotta clean up my file at some point here. Except this time, I'll try putting this vertex, right? Anyone know the right answer? I'll put that vertex at the center point. Alright, and I also need a copy of this. get that, come on, get that aligned right about there. Now where'd it go? I got so many layers in here. Let me actually, I'll do some file cleanup real quick so that I can actually work effectively. Gotta be careful not to erase stuff that I don't want to erase. So this layer looks like it can go. That layer cannot go. This layer can go. And it seems like that layer can go. That one cannot go. That one can't go. I'll bring that one up here. There. Behind the scenes, cleaning up my layers. By the time I'm done streaming, I have a really bad situation on my hands with the way the file's structured. I usually clean that up when no one's watching, but here we go. I'll draw in orange again. It's going to be this 4 radius here, and that one doesn't need to get drawn. What I will do, mark that. Sink it down. Trace that arc again. Okay, now I see where I'm at again. Sometimes looking at all these lines I get confused. What's what and where is it three-dimensionally? I mean, that is the biggest challenge of isometric work, is that it's sometimes impossible to tell where something is in the z-axis because it's not real. It's an illusion. This layer, right? Okay. Here we go. Pretty sure that was my last coffee. And I don't want to brew anymore because it's midnight. Probably shouldn't be drinking fresh coffee after midnight. Make sure I'm on the right layer. Always check and make sure you're on the right layer. Double, triple, quadruple check. It's a very tiring process, but it'll be so fun to look at when it's all put together. There we go. Is that right? Yes. And again, I'm relieved that it's not the same drawing I just made. I'm grateful every time I don't make that mistake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 out of 16. Oh boy. Maybe I should try and get 8 and then switch it up for a little while. Do some electrical panels. I think I will, because if I get 8 of these sections done, then I'm halfway done. And it's a lot easier to think about being halfway done than it is to think about being 3/8 of the way done. So, let's just get it done. Half of it done. Another blank layer, I can delete that. And this one too. I hope. We'll find out at some point. 1, 2, 3, 4. I got all 4 of those still. I guess that's empty also. Delete that. What number are we on now? I forget. I don't remember which was which. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's whatever one looks. This one here. Line back up again. The sandwich slices. The sandwich slices. There we go. Sandwich slices look as if they're aligned with the normal grid. Try this again. Come on. All right. Get a copy of my centerpiece again. The process is getting faster. That's the best part, is you get in the groove and things start moving a lot faster. So for now, make that transparent so I can see what I'm doing. Get my layer set up where I need it. I'll scribble in orange. And where'd it go? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, this is so confusing sometimes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. I'm seeing this point. Oh man, some of these are confusing. Let's move that down. Let's sink it down. Okay, that makes more sense. Deselect. That makes perfect sense now. Move it back where it belongs. Gotta move that out of the way for now. Now the fun and easy part. Coming up on 2 hours. Can I get half of this staircase done before 2 hours is up? I think I can. That means I have 10 minutes and 13 seconds to finish this one and the next one. Can I do it at lightning speed? Ooh, you know what? I'm back to this color. I think I'm going to have to break this staircase up into 2 parts because it's mentally exhausting. I feel like there's 2 types of drawing, 2 types of like creative expression. There's like the flow state of just like pure creativity, and then there's that engineering energy, which is creative, but much more regimented and strict and unforgiving. It's a lot less about feelings and emotions and a lot more about accuracy and logic and math. And I guess today is more of a logic and math day. Maybe I'll end up the stream with something more free and fun and creative. Maybe like a half hour worth or so. We'll see what happens. But right now, we're going to try and get this done quickly. That looks decent enough. Well, I got 8 minutes left. Can I do it? Can I possibly create an entire another one in 8 minutes? Let's try. Which one is it? Ooh, I gotta clean this up too. Got like 7 minutes. I don't know if I can do it. So, of course, it's the one that I have the least amount of, it's the least finished. Oops. Every mistake burns precious time. Alright, let's get it. We can do it. Which corner is it? This one. I'm gonna take a guess. Put that one down. copy of that. Move that into place. Set 50% transparency. Nudge it right there. Go back to this layer. I'll work in orange. Oh, I gotta create this half. It wasn't ready for me. Okay, but now I can trace this line. Confusion. So much confusion. Move it back into place. Use the correct keyboard. Get that out of the way. Connecting line. Okay, now I can see two sides of the step, so we've entered new territory here. More confusion. This one, we'll work on this layer. 100% opacity. I've got 5 minutes and 16 seconds left to finish this. Can I do it? Big brush. Come on. Some of these angles will have you questioning if you're right or wrong. Some of them don't look natural until you see the finished picture. Sometimes things look out of place. Okay. Almost done. Alright, what have I got? 3 minutes to go. I think I got it. Does that count? I think I got it. I gotta get it into the garage. But 2 minutes, 12 seconds to spare. I got a lot faster. That was only like 6 minutes. The first one took me a half hour. Okay, let's admire that for what it is. Should I turn up the opacity on everything? Turn them all up to 100. Let's turn them all up to 100. Uh-oh. There we go. And we'll take off the filter so we can see what we did. They need some fine tuning, like this one here needs to be lightened, and the low key darkness here can be kind of swapped out maybe. This one should actually be darker than this one, but the whole point is that I have this form to work from now. And yeah, that's pretty cool too. Check that out. Oops. There we go. Pretty cool. I'm halfway there. Okay, but for now, heading back over to this wall, I want to create something just fun and simple and creative. I'm gonna get this pillar out of the way. And we'll work on that level. Let's zoom in and think, what height would a light switch be at? Maybe 48 inches? Let's go with 48 and put a box there and go from there. Find the center. 16, 32, 48. Alright, let me copy my box here. I'll make a couple different iterations at the same time. Maybe one of them will be like a status indicator light, and the other one will be an actual switch. And now, you know what? I can take these, center them, oops, Right there. Some things take too long. Back to my pencil. Oh, what do we got here? Two big indicator lights, right? Yeah, I'll make it like a split panel here. Oh, I got this. See, sometimes it's just about the slightest suggestion of light on the side of something to give it the illusion that it's, you know, has more form than it really does. Like a little glass refractor. Oh, my mouth. I can't. Refractor. A glass refractor. There. And we'll leave it kind of unilluminated. But then I can create other versions of it that are illuminated. And then they can be triggered by an action or a switch. There, does that look like glass that's not illuminated? Don't go like this. That kind of works. Okay, maybe I'll put a couple of rivets on the corners and call it good. I'll make a little spot for the conduit to come out. How's that? Put a little bit of grungy. Oh, that was the eraser by accident. Put a little bit of that corroded texture on here. There, I just want to put a little bit of that grungy corrosion, just so it doesn't look too perfect. Maybe this front panel here is actually bolted on here. Little tiny details. Okay, and the top piece where the conduit connects. I'll actually leave it with no defining features. That way, when I come back later with actual conduit, it just kind of looks like it goes into it. If I make this like an actual mechanical hole like that, it looks cool, but it might not merge as well with the next piece. So I'm going to leave it like that on purpose. Alright, how about that switch? You know what else I could do here is one brush stroke. One good brush stroke that represents a shadow at 50% opacity. Just like that. Perfect. Now the switch. It's got to have maybe it's just a big knob that you grab and pull down. Put a slot for it first. Actually, you know what? The smartest thing to do would be to draw this hollow with no switch in place, and then draw the switch separately so that it can be animated to go up and down. So what can I do to make this look more interesting? It's got to have its little, what do you call those little electrician screws? Hold everything together. Screws. Like a little tissue box, but it's a groove for a lever. That little bit of grunginess on there. Maybe it's got some kind of marking here, like a reflective tape. That's right, I'm supposed to use more caution tape. Stay safe. Stay alive. Use more hazard tape. That's what I said. I had forgotten. Let me now imagine a lever being in two different positions. If it emanated from this point, it could easily point up, out, down. So if I were to animate positions, you know, I'd have one. Maybe I'll leave that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Would it reach that far? How far would it reach? Unknown. It'd almost be like that. I think that's a question to answer another time and just create the up or down position for now. I think that's what I'll do. got my lever. I will leave it out of the box for now. Oops. You get the idea. I'll leave it right there because it needs to be a separate asset that gets animated. I will do that another time. For now, maybe I also need to draw one of these little conduit pieces here. Hold on. Alright, that looks pretty good. A couple more little marks here and there. Clean things up as good as I can. There's small differences now. They're little things here and there, but over time they'll add up and be a fully functioning little system. Maybe I should test my conduit bender in the machine shop. Oops. Aren't these things beautiful? Just for bending conduit. All the possibilities. Just make one of these as a test and see how it looks. And just because you can trace something doesn't mean it's easy. Some of these shapes are hard. It's kind of like the difficulty of shading a toroid. Becomes a lot more complicated than you'd expect. You end up feeling like you run out of space for the gradients. If I make pipes one of these days here, you'll see. I'll be back to pipes at some point. So what happens is you start getting these crossovers where at this point right here, the top of the pipe is lit. At this point down here, the front of the pipe is lit. So the arc actually crosses over and you have different it's like your gradient profile has to switch. You have instances where you're almost certain that what you've created must be wrong. So if we look closely, you can see the gradient shifts from the light side being on the right, the dark side being on the left, crosses over in the middle, and becomes the light side on top and the dark side on the bottom. Okay, getting very close. Very close to being done with this piece. It's important to put in the effort now because this will just get copy pasted many times. Okay, let's copy this out. Take a look. Such a tiny little insignificant piece. Of course, it won't be mounted exactly like this. I'll have other little pipes, but I just wanted to see what that curve radius looks like. Let's make two. Wrong keyboard again. Getting tired. Nope, no rotate. Oh, come on. Oh, you know what? I always forget my warning lights are on. There. Did I get everything I said I was going to get? Spiral staircase, concrete spiral staircase, the platforms. Nope, I did not get to the platforms or the handrails, but I did get to test my electrical conduit generator, bender, whatever you want to call it. I got to finally use my rotator. I don't know what to call it other than that. Machine shop tools. My arc finder in conjunction with my rotator. They're all such pretty little things, like flowers and stars. What are we at? 2.5 hours right now. I could go for 3, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure I want to right now. Merge those together. The stairs I will leave apart because I got a lot of work to do with those and it can't be one piece. Maybe I will close out with a little bit more caution tape because it was part of my mission. Clearly stated right there to use more hazard tape. So I think I'll create a section of it that I can plaster onto anything. Just like a little 16-inch section. A little section for a front corner. I'll go a full 4 feet. Not 4 feet. What would it be? 1, 2, 3, 4. 32 inches. here's the part I can never remember. Which way do the lines go? Maybe I'll go... because I don't have my normal grid here. It's too small. So I'll go like this. Hey, what do you know? It'll actually pattern. Clean this up. Oh, terrible selection. That did not hurt. Stop it. can't make it end. I don't remember where it started. Try that again. I'm not sure where to put this for right now. I think I'll just leave it standing here against the wall. Maybe I want to put it somewhere. I just don't know where. I need like an edge of some kind. Hey, you know what? That's good enough. I'll leave it right there for now. Oops. There we go. I'll leave it sitting right there. Hopefully I won't forget about it. It won't become wallpaper. I'll remember to do something with it. But, alright, things are coming together at the garage, slowly but surely. Soon we'll have power. Soon we'll have a staircase to nowhere. Soon I'll have platforms and catwalks, and maybe we can leave this place and start exploring the Shadow City, or whatever I choose to call it. I'm not sure where we are exactly yet. Just the garage. It's safe in the garage. Is there anything else I could work on for the next 15 minutes? Have a nice 3-hour stream. I'm kind of tired of spiral staircase parts. They're not the most fun thing to do. Detailing them will be fun, but I think I'll try that when I'm a little bit more like energized, refreshed. Like I said, this style of creativity that is the more like engineering approach is super mentally exhausting. Like I get more tired doing some of these things than I do like scribbling that car. I spent like 2 hours scribbling that car and the time flew and I was like not tired. But some of these little technical things become a real challenge. I do like how they stack. It'll be more fun to look at. Well, I can't say that with certainty. I was imagining the steps that go down from here or which come up from here would be more fun to look at, but that might not be true because they might start to hide their steps as the helix comes up. Maybe these are the most fun ones to look at. But then as they go down from here, you get to see their like front side where they overlap. And that has potential for like really visual, interesting textures, and I'm excited for that. Got road cones already, construction barrel, light, scaffolding. What should we work on? Maybe one segment of a handrail. Let's do that. Let's get the handrail out of the way. Again, it's like so easy to do this with a guide. Everything ends up being the right diameter. Use this layer. I think this layer is good. forgot this one. I think I can go in now manually. Need some ruminant music. Oh, my computer is extremely hot. Sometimes late at night, the thrasher music gets a little hard. Need something relaxing. What do I call it? My Hero Quest music. It's like Dragon Slayer music. Labyrinths and mazes and wizards and dungeons. That's eventually what I want to get to with my drawing, but for right now, I'm trying to create a little dystopian urban cityscape. The handrails are not fun to draw, but they're really fun to put in place. Because once they're there, they add a level of complexity to the drawing. And like a richness and a depth to it. I gotta work on my welds here, perfect my welds. Oops. Let's put that in place and see how it looks. Out of view. I want to move it, but it's like a lot of work. Might not be worth moving it right now. It just is where it is. And of course at some point I'll make little connectors so that whatever I attach this to, it'll have some footing and like bolts and things. Four minutes remain. What can I do in 4 minutes? Something useful. Have I got anything here just waiting to get made? I do. I got lots of pipes. Pipes that need work. I think I lost. Oh, there we go. I thought I lost my pipes. Maybe I'll make one pipe. Just one less thing to have to do. These little flange guides have been so helpful. I wasn't going to make them, and then I realized all these little macaroni toroid shapes, these elbows, they were all going to terminate somewhere, and I want them to fit together nicely. So, it made sense to create, to include the flange in the guide. This is another instance, like I was talking about, of the gradient shifting. So in this instance, the dark side is on the left. Down here, the dark side is on the bottom. So it has to transition from the bottom, cross over the middle point, and to the left side. And then you get left with these odd spaces where they crunch up really tight, and you are unsure what to do with them. Oh, opacity. then you get in this awkward situation where the front side is light, but as it begins to arc down below, it starts to shift into shadow until you get all the way to the bottom, where it's very dark, but also begins to transition into reflected light. So down here, if you're looking for a challenge in your drawing, try shading macaroni elbow. Of course, now I've told you the secrets, and you'll be able to do it no problem. Because you already know the secret way of thinking about light and shadow and toroids, and my favorite shape, the hyperbolic paraboloid, otherwise known as a Pringle. Also found inside of a toroid. And back and forth, trying to figure out what the right shade is. Ay, ay, ay. Alright, well, I think you get the idea. Tubes are hard. Almost finished. Finished enough. Everything could use a little bit more work, but eventually you gotta give in and call it done. Can always put more details tomorrow. How's that? A decent start? I could just keep going. I have to stop myself. All right, let's take a look at what we did today. All right, we got the window in the concrete, the electrical switches, indicator light, the caution tape, a handrail for my stairs, and 8 of the 16 sections of a spiral staircase made out of concrete. Was there anything else? A little tiny lever. That was it. But I think we accomplished the mission for today. If you're watching, if you've sat with me this whole time, thank you for watching. I will be back maybe tomorrow, maybe 2 days. I haven't quite figured out exactly what I want to do as a schedule, but it's been fun. I hope you learned something, enjoyed it, saw something new, learned something new. Maybe it inspired ideas within you for your own drawings. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.